because I didn't want to throw any of my clients under the bus.
Mm.
When you have the chips, that's over 1 pound. Most family bags are 17 ounces of chips. That's over 1 pound of chips. And you can easily eat that, and now you're looking for a pint of ice cream. Yet, when you eat the steak, it's generally between 10 and 12 ounces, and you can't take another bite. She lies on national television, and you can see the look on my face where I went, okay, I'm getting ready to blow this up now. I'm getting ready to go nuts now.
Yeah.
And I turned the show into a circus. And I figured if I turned it into enough of a circus, that they would never, I didn't realize that the more circus you turn something into in daytime, the more they like it.
So when you're exposing these lies, or not just that, lots of things, do you get in trouble?
Not yet.
Okay.
You know, the part I've been leaving out the whole time, you would go, okay, why is this guy being so magnanimous? Why is he giving his time away for free? Why is he telling the truth? Why would he do any of this? And the real reason is...
I'm nearly 60.
Are you really?
I am, yeah.
Keep doing whatever the hell you're doing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Have Extraordinary Relationships with me, Lucy Cavendish. I am, I think as they say, gassed to be here with celebrity trainer Vinnie Tortorich. And he is coming to us all the way from Virginia, not West Virginia, Virginia. And he's going to tell us all about fitness. We're probably going to talk about weight loss drugs. I think we are, because I, as everyone knows, have been on them and lost a lot of weight. And I'm a big advocate for them. But I think Vinnie's going to talk to us about that and maybe put a bit of balance in that. And he's going to tell us all about his world and his life. So welcome, Vinnie. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Lucy, it's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
So describe yourself to me and the listeners. What you know, if you say, I'm Vinnie Tortorich and what's the bit that comes after that?
Well, it's difficult because I've been one thing my entire life, so that should make it easy. But I spent my whole working career as a fitness trainer. And because of proximity to Hollywood, I ended up working with a lot of celebrities. So I was one of those very early on, back in the late 80s, early 90s, you know, where they called us celebrity fitness trainers. And then, now it doesn't mean anything. I mean, anyone who actually maybe met a celebrity 20 years ago calls themselves a celebrity fitness trainer. So that's what I did for my entire career. Up until maybe I don't know, around 2011 or so, I wrote this book, Fitness Confidential.
Yes.
And, they say dance like no one's looking. I wrote a book as if no one was going to read it.
Okay.
And it turned out to be this kind of big deal, which overnight changed my life because now there's podcasts and I've done 4 documentaries. So when people go, who are you and what do you do? It's like, I'm still just a fitness trainer who did a lot of other things to promote myself, I guess.
So tell us about the Fitness Confidential, because I read that you've got the Supercray America's Angriest Trainer. I'm sure that isn't true, but I read it.
Yeah. When I first went on the internet, I didn't exist on the internet. Like, this was back in the days when I was trying not to be on the internet at all. I know that sounds crazy nowadays, but when the internet got popular, I decided to stay. My name didn't exist on Google because I had some pretty big clients in Hollywood. So you ever notice, like, when a celebrity, when they lose their mind or something happens, they'll say sources close to.
Yes.
That source is usually a masseuse or a trainer or a cook.
Okay. I thought it actually meant them. I thought they'd said to people they knew, go and tell the press stuff about me.
Well, that happens too. That's a whole different, we could do an hour long. If I told you what actually goes on behind the scenes, that's 3 podcasts of.
Wow.
But yeah, that does happen. They will tell, their manager will call the people sitting outside of the house and say, get in your car, get ready, because she's coming out or he's coming out, right? That's all part of it. But
Mm.
whenever it's something where the person might have had a drug problem or whatever, they'll say sources or there's a divorce going on within the
Yeah.
house, and you see things and so I always stayed out of that. I didn't want to be any part of it. And then I wrote this book, and every agent in town said, you need to go get popular on the internet. And I wanted to call myself America's trainer, but someone had already taken that. And
Mm.
my wife said, she was my girlfriend at the time, she said, well, you're angry about what goes on. I'm not angry at people, I'm angry on their behalf.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I
Yeah.
called myself America's angriest trainer just to have some kind of tagline.
Mm.
And then once the media picked me up and I was doing TV shows and what have you, every presenter would say, so you don't seem so angry. And I would spend half of my time trying to explain that I'm not angry. Right.
Mm.
So we dropped the moniker at some point and just just called me my name, I guess.
So I'm thinking of, Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential, where he basically said, if you want to know what goes on in kitchens, this is what goes on in kitchens. So I imagine that, you're saying this is what goes on in the fitness industry. This is stuff that you don't know about.
Very clever of you to pick up on that. So my good friend, Dean Laurie, his name is also on the front of my book. I put it there because I didn't think I could sell a book. Dean was a big Hollywood producer, director, and writer.
Mm.
And he helped me write the book. I wrote the book, and then he helped me figure out which chapters go where and how to make them come together, things that a non-writer just can't do.
Yes.
And I said, Dean, I want your name on the front of the book with me because I think it's the only way I have a chance of selling anything. And Dean was the one that convinced me to write a book. Right. He said, you have all of this information. You know where the bodies are buried. You know all of it. And for months, probably a year, I kept saying, Dean, I'm not going to do it. There's no way. And because I didn't want to throw any of my clients under the bus.
Mm.
There was a famous Hollywood book that came out years earlier called You'll Never Eat in This Town Again, where an agent.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a book that came out. They did a movie on it called The Nanny Diaries, where these nannies told about their New York clientele. Well, Simon & Schuster, Harper Wave, HarperCollins, Harlequin, everyone that was trying to get me to sign a deal wanted me to write that book, a tell-all.
Mm.
And I said I wouldn't do it. So I did it my way. And Dean said, you should write it just like Kitchen Confidential, where you just don't give any real names and just talk about where the bodies are buried and how the industry really works.
Yes.
And so we copied Anthony Bourdain's idea and just brought it to the fitness world.
Yes. Fascinating. Fascinating. And what are the biggest myths you think that people have? What are we all being kind of told that isn't really true? What are the myths that you would bust?
Something for nothing, and your chicks for free. There is nothing, there is no, you have to meet life on life's terms. I mean, one of my biggest phrases is exercise is an impossible way to lose weight.
Yes, thank you. My doctor told me that.
Yeah, and think about it. I made my living off of telling people to exercise. So you'll go, wait a minute, Vinny, you burn calories in the whole thing. What most people don't know about me is that I'm a scientist. That I have a degree in exercise physiologist and nutrition, and I follow science. I've been a child of science my entire life. Even though when you walk around in gym shorts, people have trouble squinting hard enough to believe that. But if you look at the way we have two laws of energy, right? Well, we have a lot of laws of energy, but there's two that we can't get past, right? And the first two laws, energy cannot be created or dispelled, right? Energy just is.
Okay.
Right?
Is that okay? That's interesting.
Yeah, that's the law of energy. So if you think you can lose weight by burning energy, then we would all just be thin, right? We've never lost weight based on burning energy because we don't create it and we can't create it or get rid of it. It just is. Right. So, and then there's the second law of energy that, which is pretty much the same thing. It says it a different way. Well, the way I can put it so that the regular person can understand it. You have an automobile, right?
Yes.
Okay. Does it burn petrol or is it an electric car?
Well, actually, it's a hybrid, but so it can do either. But let's say petrol.
Okay. Or it could be a hybrid. So if you drive your hybrid and you run it out of gas, right? And you can go a little longer because you now have battery life.
Yes.
But now the battery life is gone.
Yes.
And your car is on the side of the road. You cannot get that car moving again unless you get behind it and push it. Period.
Yes.
How do you get it to move again?
You got to put more fuel in it. You got to find a way for it to. You've got to fuel it. You've got to one form or the other.
Yeah, you got to either figure out a way to get that engine to run, which means you have to put more
energy, whatever it's called. Yeah, gas
whatever the energy source is.
Yeah.
Or you have to charge the battery or both. And if you have a hybrid, the engine charges the battery and the battery charges it until it's out of gas. So
yes.
So if you want to think that, I can just exercise my way thin, eventually you're going to run out of energy. Right? And what do you do when you run out of energy? Well, you have to go eat more energy. You got to put more petrol in your gut. You need to eat something.
Yes.
Right? So we don't gain and lose weight based on exercise. So that's out the window. Now we have another problem.
Yes.
So why did we all get fat one day? Right? We weren't fat in the 70s.
We eat too much. I eat a lot more than I used to eat as a kid, and we eat really bad food. Although, actually, having said that, my mother was a terrible cook, so I always ate bad food. But we probably ate very small portions, and now we eat much bigger portions.
Well, you said it backwards. We eat really bad foods, which makes us eat too much. So the foods, any engineered food, right? So if you take anything with a wrapper on it, anything with more than one ingredient, and you go, more than one ingredient? Come on, man, what are you talking about? Well, steak is one ingredient. Avocado is one ingredient.
Yeah, apples is one ingredient.
Apple is one ingredient.
Broccoli. That's one ingredient.
Yeah, if you just ate meat, fruit, vegetables, you would be fine. We were fine throughout millennia, right? We just hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years, we were fine. And then all of a sudden we had to make food cheap and fast and addictive, right?
Yeah. So it's got salts, sugars, and other things in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you do that, you create a firestorm. So when you start eating it, you have to eat more. So I'm going to give you an example that you could probably latch onto, and your audience can definitely latch onto. So if you bought, I think in England, you guys call it crisps.
Yes, we call it crisps. What do you call it? Chips.
We call them chips.
Yeah, we call them crisps.
So if you take a family bag of chips, right, so of course you're going to buy the family bag because it would be prudent to do so, because if you buy the family bag is way cheaper than if you buy the little individual bag. So
yeah.
We're all trying to save $1, so you buy the family bag of chips. And we've all done this. I know I've done it. You can tell yourself, okay, I'm just going to pour some out in the bowl and take it. I'm going to watch the game on television, and I'm just going to enjoy these chips while I'm watching the game. Well, you're done with the chips and your bowl is empty and the commercial comes on, and without you even thinking about it, you go back to the pantry and you put more chips in the bowl.
Yes.
And if you're like me, and most people would be like me, before the end of the game, you've finished a whole bag of chips. You feel like a pig and you're going, do I have ice cream in the freezer? Right? Okay, hang on to that thought for a minute. If I took you out to a fine steak restaurant and you just had, I don't know, a ribeye. You like ribeyes, Lucy?
I don't eat steak, but never mind. Let's go with it.
Okay, but let's say you had a ribeye, or if anyone had a ribeye. and you ate that. And right when you took your last bite, if you said to them, please bring me, if they brought you another ribeye, you would say, please pack it up. I have to take it home.
Yes, you'd have enough.
Right. So why is it when you ate, because I'm going to tell you the answer now.
Yes.
When you have the chips, that's over 1 pound. Most family bags are 17 ounces of chips. That's over 1 pound of chips. And you can easily eat that, and now you're looking for a pint of ice cream. Yet, when you eat the steak, it's generally between 10 and 12 ounces, and you can't take another bite. Why is it that one fills you up and the other one leaves you wanting more?
Well, the steak's got fiber in it and all that kind of stuff. Protein.
So does the chips.
Not really.
I can argue that the chips has more fiber.
Okay, the chips aren't protein, and protein fills you up. Also, the chips.
Why does protein fill you up?
Oh, I don't know. I just know that it does.
But you see, you're on to something. So
also, hang on. Here's another thing. Aren't the chips? The chips have lots of salt on them, and we like salt, so we want more salt.
No, that's not it, because most people put salt on the steak, and you have a buttercream sauce in there and everything else. So you have salt on both.
Okay, it's not about salt.
No one ever ate a steak without salt. Unless they were on the Serengeti.
Yeah, but chips have got like loads of salt in it.
And so
anyway, never mind. Yeah, so
here's what happens. When we eat these carbohydrates, straight carbohydrates like this, your body releases hormones to protect it, right? Like you have to do something with the carbohydrates. So your body releases insulin, which is a hormone, and it goes to cover the carbohydrates. It also releases a hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin is the hormone that's supposed to keep us, like it makes us feel cavernous and hungry, right? When you get the stomach growl and the whole thing. Your stomach is not really empty. It's ghrelin saying, hey, Lucy, feed me.
Yes.
And we also have a hormone called leptin, and leptin is the hormone that tells you, I'm full now. But when you're constantly attacking those hormones, the switch goes in the opposite direction. So the more chips you eat, the more chips you think you need to eat. When you eat fat and protein, which is what a steak is made of, and it's almost completely void of any carbohydrate, you get sated right away. All the hormones are sated. So we gain and lose weight based on hormones. Bottom line, end of story.
Oh, right. So lots of people probably don't know that.
No one knows that. Except the people who are making the stuff that want you to overeat them, by the way.
So in your podcast, in your book, you're talking about the start and you're trying to give people information on this level, aren't you, about actually what's actually going on in your body and in your brain.
Yeah, and we try to do it in a fun way, right? We've done now like close to 3,000 podcasts.
I know, amazing.
And you probably know how many I've done better than me, because I just know it's getting close to 3,000.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And in order to do that and tell the same story over and over again, you have to do it in a fun and loving way. And, we never tell people that they're wrong and they're the problem or anything else. We're just trying to help people get better. And it's been this singular mission of mine to do it for free.
Yeah,
because, if you start charging, then people are going to go, well, he's got skin in the game. He's got a horse in the race. Obviously, he wants me to believe this. As long as I keep it free, I can just go, hey, here's the truth. Take it, leave it. I don't care. I don't make a dime either way.
Yes, I hear that. I hear that. It means that you don't, people can't accuse you of having skin in the game.
Yeah. And they often do. Vegans get very upset with me, right?
Why? Is that because you're basically saying you've got to eat protein, and the best protein is in basically things like steak?
Right. We need animal protein, and they'll go, well, you can get protein from peas and hemp and everything else. And they're not wrong. You need to eat almost 10 times the amount of that stuff to even get close to the same amino acid profile that you could get from an egg. Sorry, that's just a fact. And they'll accuse me. It's like, oh, he's taking money from big meat. First of all, there's no such thing as big meat. It's like, and if there's a place called Big Meat, I'm sure it would be somewhere in the porn industry. It's not in the health and fitness industry. You know, so Big Meat, please send me a check. Honey, cash the check from Big Meat. We could go out and cruise or something. You know, so yeah, I've never taken a dime from anyone. I've been offered a lot of money from a lot of different people to say certain things, but I decided a long time ago, I'm okay with not being bought. It's,
Okay, so what I know in terms of, let's say, food. Okay, so we all, I think lots of us know this. Here's a good thing. Here's good stuff to eat. So like breakfast, Greek yogurts, chia seeds, nuts, maybe some fruit, something like that. Lunch, what you've got on the poster behind you, some salmon, avocado, maybe some, whole grains, chickpeas, maybe some more nuts. Dinner, pretty much the same, bit of brown rice. We all know this. We don't do it. Why don't we do it? We all know it. We all know it. There's only that's
the
not
why. Look, if I can figure out the why, I can fix the problem.
yeah. Because we know. I'm looking at that food behind you,
Right.
and I'm going yummy, yummy. That looks so yummy. I know that's a good plate of food.
Yeah. Look, it's a conundrum that, first off, we're highly addicted to these foods.
Right.
The food industry. There was a great book that came out about 15, 20 years ago called Salt, Sugar, Fat, where this guy talked about, the whole book was how the food industry, it's not good enough for you to walk into the grocery store and buy a bag of chips or, the cookies in a bag or whatever. They need you to be thinking about that the next time you walk in the store, right? They got to make you so highly addicted that the next time you walk in the store, you become Pavlovian. Ooh, I can't forget to get the chips that I like.
Yeah.
Right? You walk into Waitrose, you already have an idea of what's in that place and where the aisles, you know where to find it. Right? And if I've been in your country from I spend a lot of time there. It's just like this country. Up and down the middle aisles is nothing but booze and cookies and candies and ice cream. And just like here, you can only find the good stuff along the edges. There's some vegetables and some meat and some eggs and dairy, yogurt, what have you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's there if you want to do it, but everyone complains. Like, you look a lot younger than me, so
I'm not a lot younger than you. Well, I'm nearly 60.
Are you really?
I am, yeah.
Keep doing whatever the hell you're doing.
Thank you.
I was going to give you 50 or maybe 52.
Thank you. No, I'm 60.
It was like, I'm like looking at you going, okay, she's nowhere near my age, but
no, I am near your age.
Growing up, we were told about all these conveniences. When I was a kid, all of a sudden, my parents came home with something called a microwave.
Yeah.
Right? And that was supposed to make food in like record time. And then there was a whole industry of stuff we could put in the microwave. And then my mom came home with a Teflon skillet. And you don't even have to put oil in it. You just cook the egg and look, it just slips right out. All these time-saving devices, right? Washing machines got smarter. Everything got faster and smarter. And we were going to have all of this time to do all of these things. Yet the number one thing, because I talk to people on a daily basis, I coach people over at VinnieTortorich.com. And I don't have to coach people. That's not what I do for a living. I do it out of curiosity. And the number one thing I hear is, we don't have time.
Yes, that's really interesting.
You have a microwave? Yeah. You have an indoor washing machine? Because when I was a kid, clothes were hung up on a line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You don't have time? And we have I don't know about your country. Well, I know it happens in your country too, because I've done it at Sammy's house. You could get people to show up at your door with food now.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Right?
Well, not where I am, but yeah, you can. Yeah. Uber Eats.
Uber Eats and Postmates and all these different companies.
Yes.
And all we do is yell about, I don't have time. But here's the interesting thing. I'm holding up a cell phone. In America, the average person spends almost 8 hours a day looking at this 2 by 4 inch piece of glass.
Really? Eight
Crazy,
hours?
right?
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's the average. You can go look it up. And I use this for work,
Uh-huh.
right? So I was like, well, I spend time on my phone. Like, I'm not one of those death scrollers. I'm just not.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, well, I use mine for work. Let me see how long I spend. And it turns out it shows you the daily average. You can go right in your phone and find the number.
Yeah, yes, I found mine. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty good. I was like, am I really working on that phone for 2.5 hours? So I took a week and said, I'm not going to look at my phone unless it's one of, my top guy calling me Chris, or my mother who's old, my father.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at my phone unless they're, and I took 2.5 hours to like an hour and 30 minutes. I was able to knock an hour
Wow.
average off per day. That's a savings of 7 hours more per week. So we claim we have zero time to cook or do any of this stuff. But as it turns out, we're wasting 7 hours a day. So if you're sleeping for 8, you're doing that for 7, and you're working for 8. That means you have 1 hour of day when you're not consumed with this.
Yes.
If you just do the simple math.
Yes.
I know we're going all over the place, but there you have it.
So there are, well, I was going to ask you about various sort of, so the diet, there's a huge diet industry, isn't there?
Yeah.
Which is about, I don't know, things like intermittent fasting and various books and programs and Weight Watchers, which here in the UK has now gone bust. Do you feel those things are helpful, or do you feel they're all confusing it's all about how do you lose weight, isn't it? Whereas you're saying it's not really about that. It's about exercise and knowledge.
Yeah. It's very confusing, Weight Watchers, I was railing against them when I had a radio show back in the 80s, right? We know that Weight Watchers, less than 2% of the people ever keep the weight off.
Yes.
And when you don't keep the weight off, they'll blame it on you and tell you, hey, you can sign up again and try again. You failed. We didn't fail.
Yeah.
That was their business model.
Yeah.
See, my job is to go around and tell you what everyone is doing, right? Intermittent fasting, nothing particularly wrong with it, because usually the intermittent fasters figured out the way you can do that is by cutting out carbohydrates, and then you never feel hungry. The problem with it is that you might start lacking in protein, and it becomes a bit of diet trickery, because some people will intermittent fast. They'll eat within a window every day, within an hour or two, and they call it OMAD, 1 meal a day. It's like all of these subcultures of it. And some people do it quite well and have no problem. And then other people turn it into diet trickery. I'm going to eat 1 meal a day, bring on the ice cream.
Yes,
Right?
yes, that's right. I mean, 1 meal a day, I'm just going to eat everything I could possibly get in my body. Yeah.
Yeah, I can eat for this 1 hour. Where's the cake? I've known people to fast for, up to 72 hours and then just eat like crazy. That's not healthy, right? You're starving your body. When you're fasting, your body goes into a form of autophagy. It starts shedding its own, using its own muscle for fuel and everything else. If you have extra fat, it'll use fat. And then all of a sudden you go back to this boom, give me nothing but crap. Does any part of that sound healthy?
No.
Right. You're setting yourself up for more failure. And I could go on and on about every single diet, and that's the way it works.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So how did you, I know you said you grew up in Louisiana. How did you grow up? What was your mum cooking? Were you cooking? Were you eating? I mean, I think of, I don't know, jambalaya. I don't know. Maybe that's not in Louisiana. What was your childhood like growing up there?
Yeah, there was a lot of Cajun cooking, but my family we were Italians, and there was a small Italian community right on the bayou where I grew up. And we all had our own gardens. Like, I didn't know vegetables were bought in a grocery store when I was a kid. We had somewhere between 4 and 6 acres of garden, which,
Wow.
So any vegetable you could think was grown,
Yes.
including fig trees. I mean, they
Wow.
would make preserves. We were almost like an Amish family. potatoes, sweet potatoes, all of it, yams, turnips, everything was grown, tomatoes.
Mm.
So we had that. Um, Meat was bought from the store, pretty much. I never had a Pop Tart as a kid,
Mm.
like not even a Pop Tart. And when you live in an Italian family, the elders, the older one, the grandparents, and my great grandparents who actually came from Italy, they actually cooked all the time. There was always a simmering, big giant pot of stuff.
Mm.
Anything from, you would think, oh, was it just big pasta sauce on the thing? That was everything from baba ganoush to you name it. All kinds of these rich European
Wow.
foods. But there was meat every day at every meal. You know, um,
Mm. Mm.
remember the song from The Wall? How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Yes, that's right.
You know,
That's right. Yeah.
that was my. It was like you couldn't have dessert unless you ate your meat. And we even had liver day once a week where
Oh, yeah. So did we. We had liver every Sunday.
I could not stand liver. Till this day, I won't eat. And by the way, folks, don't write to me. I know your grandmammy had the best liver recipe in the world. I've tried them all. I just don't like liver. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a hunter. I'm still a hunter. I love wild game. I love deer, and
Mm.
whenever I'm in your country, I'll go pheasant hunting. Although we'll shoot all these pheasant, and they don't seem to end up on the table that I'm at.
No, where did they end up?
Well, they give them usually to the beaters and everyone else that worked the hunt. You could take as many as you want, but usually I'm staying at my sister-in-law's house, and we never have pheasant, right?
Oh, I like pheasant. It's delicious.
Yeah, I do too. And I know they keep some. So let's say 100 pheasant were killed on a shoot. They might keep a dozen, and then the rest goes to, everyone wants them because they're delicious, right? You can, but I love wild meats. There was a lot of that as a kid. Rabbit, which is kind of void of any kind of fat.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up eating rabbit. My father used to make rabbit. We loved rabbit. It's really hard to get now.
Oh, I could go hunting rabbit here if I wanted to, but I would have to still hunt because I don't have rabbit dogs. When I was a kid, my relatives all had beagles, and it was, I think that's where my love of the outdoors came, just being out in the woods, shooting at animals and learning how to, clean the animals and dress the animals. It really makes you appreciate, the cycle. I
Yes.
think. Now mostly what I shoot is sporting clays, and you can't eat clay.
You can't eat that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
when did you start? So you grew up in Louisiana. So that sounds a very rural childhood. Very rural.
Yeah, it was a bit of a rural area, but we were close. We were 30 minutes from Baton Rouge, which was the capital. I went to a private Catholic school, which is not the same as like private school in England. In Louisiana, the education is very poor, and the only way to get a proper education is to go to a private school. So it was a big sacrifice by my parents because there were four of us, and they put us all through private. And you don't appreciate it as a kid, but then you realize when you go off to college, or as you guys call it, university, you're set for life because now you can do something, right?
And were you
So
good at school? Were you academic or were you sporty?
I went to college on a college scholarship to play football, American football.
Uh-huh.
So I was very sporty. I didn't. And the funny thing is, I didn't care about grades while I was in school until I got to college. And now you're 18 years old, and you go, "Ooh, I got to figure out something here," because. And what I figured out was I was going to become a school teacher. That's why I went into the sciences. And then I went, well, maybe I'll become a physical therapist because I like working with people in the body and the whole thing. And I went down the whole physical therapist thing, but I ran out of money after my scholarship was done. My parents couldn't afford to put me through school, and I was sick and tired of being in school. So I left with my degree in exercise physiology, and and never went to PT school, never went to physical therapy school, and just started working with people to lose weight. I saw the problem happening in real time, and kind of right place at the right time, I
Well, you
guess.
just saw people getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, because I did go work as the head strength coach in a high school right down the street from where I went to school I went to school in New Orleans, Tulane University,
Mm.
and I was in the high school and it's like, wait a minute, I just graduated high school 4 years ago, and there was not one, there was no fat back in 84, 85,
Mm.
but there was no chunky, the kids were getting chunky. The
Yeah.
cheeks were, cherub cheeks, and you could see that, they love handles on these young people. And I was like,
Mm.
where this, what happened? What happened in 4 years? And that's when I started looking back, and the movie behind me, Fat, a documentary. It's
Mm.
that I talk about that journey of where it started, and it really started in 1865, but it really took hold in 1958, and I tell the history of it. My dad was a history professor, so I have this telling a story
Yes.
chronologically thing in my head,
Yes.
and yeah.
So you end up being as a fitness trainer, celebrity trainer, and you're on Oprah.
Yeah, I was. One of the low points of my life, Oprah Winfrey.
Why was that
Um,
a low point?
well, I was in LA and I was doing really well, and a friend of mine called and said, "Hey, would you like to be on Oprah?" I mean, I knew Oprah existed. I had never seen the Oprah Winfrey Show. I realized it was daytime type of whatever, and I said, "No, I'm good." And she was like, "You really should get your name. Get your name out there. You need to get your name out there." And I'm like, "All right, I guess I'll get my name out there, right?" And so this was back in the days when you didn't have to go to the airport 20 hours. I went to the airport, they put me on a plane. I got to Chicago, a limousine picked me up. They brought me to a hotel and they told me the show is tomorrow and then we'll, do the reverse and get you back home.
Mm-hmm.
And the theme was all I knew. They said it was younger men who dated older women.
Okay.
And at the time, I had a girlfriend who was about 8 years older than me.
Okay.
But if you looked at us side by side, she looked younger than me, right? Like we didn't look like some kind of wacky couple or anything.
Mm.
And I had just broken up with her. Her name was Marilyn. She's passed away. She's such a lovely woman. And I was like, well, yeah, I can talk about being in a relationship, younger men dating older women. I know a lot about it. A 5-year relationship. I get to the show, and backstage they said, "This is your girlfriend." And I was like, I've never met this woman before in my life.
Yeah.
And she pulled me aside because they didn't want the producers to know. She goes, "Listen, I'm good friends with your friend that sent you here," and the whole thing. And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "We have an organization in LA of younger men who date older women."
Mm-hmm.
And I went, "Okay." And she goes, "My boyfriend just broke up with me, and it would look bad if I didn't have someone. That's why you're here." And I
Oh,
said, "I'm not going to walk out on stage and lie
and pretend you're my girlfriend.
and pretend." And she goes, "Would you just sit next to me, sir, at least?" And I went, "Yeah, I'll come out and I'll sit next to you and I'll do that." And she said, "Okay." And then when the show started, and if you watched the show, I never watched the show until Serena and I watched it for the first time, my wife, about 3 years ago. I had never seen it. We go out there, and this woman, she called herself Doe, D-O-E. And she says, Oprah says, "Doe, introduce us to your man." She turns to me, she goes, "This is Vinnie, and he's a lovely man, and we've been dating." She lies on national television. And you can see the look on my face where I went, okay, I'm getting ready to blow this up now. I'm getting ready to go nuts now.
Yeah.
And I turned the show into a circus. And I figured if I turned it into enough of a circus, that they would never, I didn't realize that the more circus you turn something into in daytime, the more they like it.
Right.
I turned it into a circus. It was just me and Oprah for an hour.
Ah,
And as it turns out, and I didn't know this until much later, it was the 7th highest ranking Oprah show in history.
wow.
Right behind the one on Tom Cruise when Tom Cruise is jumping
Oh, when
on
he
the
gets on the
commentary.
sofa and jumps up and down. Yeah.
Yeah. So Oprah had me on a second time on a Where Are They Now episode 20 years later, where she she talked about this is where he is now. He did this 20 years ago. So I've been on Oprah twice. But I talk about that in Fat a Documentary. If people want to know how media lies, I mean,
Yes.
Oprah didn't know she was lying. The producers knew. They heard what went on behind the stage. Everyone was in on it, and I just went with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it was a whole lie that was created right there on television.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you're exposing these lies, or not just that, lots of things, do you get in trouble?
Not yet.
Okay.
You know, I the part I've been leaving out the whole time, you would go, okay, why is this guy being so magnanimous? Why is he giving his time away for free? Why is he telling the truth? Why would he do any of this? And the real reason is I almost died in 2007. I was just clipping along in my life, and I go and take a blood test, and turns out I had a really bad case of leukemia, and I had to go
my
on
word.
chemo, and I almost died.
Oh my
And when you're
God.
sitting there with a pump, you pumping chemo in you,
Oh my
I
God.
started thinking, okay, I this was before I was dating Serena, and I was like, all right, I'm going to die.
Oh my
And
gosh.
what are people going to say about me once I'm dead?
Mm.
And the answer is, well, he went out to Hollywood and he was rolling around on the carpet with a bunch of hot actresses. And that didn't sound like a very good life to me. And I'm not very religious, but I talked to whoever I talked to, and I said, you know what? If somehow I make it out of this, I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to figure out how to help society versus just make a living. And I didn't know what that meant at the time. Right. And it was right after that when my buddy Dean Laurie said to me, sitting in that restaurant one night, he goes, you almost died with all these secrets. You know how to make people get in shape and lean and the whole thing. And you almost took that to your grave. And I was like, yeah. He goes, why don't you give that away? And that's what started the whole thing. And that's when I decided life is too short to make up stuff. Right.
That's very powerful. Yeah, it's very powerful.
And by the way, when you do that, and this should be the only lesson that comes out of this podcast, when you just tell the truth all the time and you don't care what happens to you, guess what? Nothing bad happens. You know, people go, if you do that, people are going to come after you. My wife does this, because she's an actress, right? And she's been in front of media. If you do that, they'll come after you and they'll do this and that and the whole thing. And it's like, I don't care. If I don't apologize, if I know what I'm saying is correct, if when you apologize to the mob, is the mob happy? No, they come at you some more. Think about what happened when anyone apologized to the angry mob online. Did they stop?
No.
No, they keep coming. They just keep coming. So, as whenever people come to, like, people will write to me and go, hey, this is happening to me online. I've had politicians write to me and stuff like, hey, what would you do about this? Or what would you say? And I would say, nothing. It was yeah, but what if I just said, no, say nothing. I had a guy in media who was getting hammered because he did an article. How could you platform that politician and all this kind of stuff? And he calls me up. He goes, "What should I do?" And I said, "Do 0." And he goes, "I don't get it. What would you do?" And I said, "I would do 0. And here's why. Have you ever heard the sound of one hand clapping? It makes no noise. They have one hand, you have the other hand. You can't clap with one hand. That's number one. Number two, and this might be more important than number one, the internet is undefeated,
Yeah.
right? You're not going to win. You're not going to beat the internet. You can say, "I'm sorry, I'm this and that," and the whole thing. And they go, "Of course you're sorry. You don't want to," I own the vitamin company. "You don't want to lose your vitamin business." Really? You think I'm going to lose my vitamin business over saying what I'm going to say? Right? That's why, love her or hate her, over in your country, J.K. Rowling, she says what she wants to say. And she's got impunity because she can say anything with impunity because she's rich. Right? She doesn't have FU money. She's got F me money, which is bigger than FU money.
But are you saying that it's money that means that people can just stick with whatever?
No, well, in J.K. Rowling's case, yes, right? She can say whatever she wants. She's J.K. Rowling's, right? What, the internet's going to come after her? Elon Musk, same thing. He can say whatever he wants, right? He's richer than most, medium-sized countries.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So they can say whatever they want.
Yes.
I don't have their kind of money, but I can say whatever I want because I'm not scared of the mob, right? And as long as I'm saying the truth and I can stand behind the truth, I'm fine. And whenever people come after me, the vegans or whatever, and this and that and the whole thing is like, great, keep doing it. I don't care what you do. I'm just trying to help people be healthy. You have an agenda. I don't. My agenda is I'm trying to help people get healthy and I'm not charging them. What, are you going to cancel me? I'm cancel proof. You cancel me and guess what? I don't lose one dime. How do you cancel me?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I hear that. So so people come to you and what do they say? I want to get fit. I want to get thin. I want to get both.
Usually the ones I see, the ones I coach, this is sad to say. I was on the phone with a guy. He's a truck driver just this morning. He stopped weighing himself at 595 pounds. Yeah. They took his CDC, his truck driver's license away. His CDL is what it's called. They took it away and they said it's because he has hypertension and this and that and the whole thing, and he's going to die behind the seat. And he's got a wife to support and a kid. That's what I see. That's who I deal with. Right. I used to deal with, a size 2 who wants to become a size 0 in Hollywood. Now I'm dealing with, I'm 400 pounds and my husband won't look at me naked. I'm 600 pounds and they took my license away to drive. These people are living in prisons of their own body. Right. And we don't talk about these people.
No.
No one talks about them. They're invisible to the world.
Yeah. Very different.
Yeah.
From getting someone who says, I want to be a size 2 to a size 0 to talking to people that are actually prisoners of their own body.
Yeah. And, those people, those size 2s who are going to 0s have their own problems. They're using drugs now. They're using semaglutides and peptides of all sorts. And, we see how that's going. Look at Kelly Osbourne.
Yeah.
Sharon had to stop doing the drugs she came out and said 9 months ago, I got to stop doing this. Demi Moore looks like crap. The aforementioned Oprah looks like the crypt keeper. And
well, people say it's because I'm exercising and I'm dieting, but it isn't. Like
Oprah's been exercising and dieting for 50 years. Now why all of a sudden? And she said that she's been taking these drugs. It stops the quote unquote food noise. You know what else it stops? A lot of people, who start taking them and they stop and they call me and they'll go, I had to stop. And I'll say, why? They'll tell you the side effects. I felt sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And you don't just lose the food noise. you lose the energy to do anything. Like, my life just became dull. I didn't want to do anything anymore. Right?
I've been on them and I haven't had that effect at all.
That's good.
But then
That's
again,
good that you don't.
I'm wired up. I mean, I could wire the entire national grid with my levels of energy.
Yeah, well,
I'm famously energetic.
You're the other side of it, right? There are people like
I'm
you
on
too.
the other side. Yeah.
And by the way, I'm guessing you're not on the highest dose of whatever. You're
No,
not
and I've been off it for quite a while now. Yeah, I've been off it for quite a while now.
Yeah, so that matters too, and that's what people go, well, you're against these things. It's like, well, not really. I get it if you're 500 pounds and you want to get that first 100 pounds off and start feeling better.
Yes.
And, maybe get your A1Cs in check and on and on and on. But at some point, you can't live on that forever.
Yes.
You see, there's no off-ramp. And these doctors aren't offering an off-ramp because they don't get to work with these patients. They just go, here's the drug, and when you run out, I'll give you some more. Right? If we can teach people along the way and at least tell them, hey, you should start working out and lifting heavy things, because one of the side effects of GLP-1s is
you need muscle mass,
Right. So if just to give your audience an idea, if I take 100 pounds off of someone naturally, 80 of those pounds will be fat, 20 of them will be muscle. It's just the nature of weight loss. You're going to lose some muscle and some soft tissue and some bone along the way, all things that are very important when you're 60. That's number one. If you take a GLP-1, you could lose up to 60%, usually between 40 and 50% of muscle. And when you're Demi Moore, that ain't good. Right? She's my age. I'm 63. You can't, we already have sarcopenia kicking our butts up and down the street. Sarcopenia is muscle wasting as we get older. And if you got a drug that's taking this to a new level, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah. It's big stuff. So we need to finish in a minute, but so someone comes to you and says, help me, I want to lose weight. So when I went to the doctor and he said, listen, you're pretty overweight, which I was. I said, but I exercise. And he said, you will never lose weight exercising. You're postmenopausal, blah, 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 blah. There's lots of really good reasons to exercise, so keep doing it, but you're not going to lose weight through exercise alone. It's not going to happen.
I've had several people take me up on the offer that they can lose all the weight they want and never do an exercise. And that's cool and everything. But the problem with that is exercise is the fountain of youth, right? It's a use it or lose it. And like the aforementioned sarcopenia, which is muscle wasting. Look, if you do the math, and I have done, we start muscle wasting when we're 33, 34 years old. You start losing about a pound of muscle per year.
Yes.
And so if you do the math, if you live to be 85, you will lose half of your body weight in muscle. And with that is soft tissue and bone. And bone grows just like muscle. You have to pound your muscle, weight-bearing exercise. You need to walk or jump rope or hike or do something. You need to be on your feet if you have feet to be on, right? It's very important. So people go, walking, is that? Yeah, if you just walked, that would be great. You don't have to jog. You don't have to run. You don't have to go do an ultra marathon. You don't have to row a boat across the ocean or whatever. You just have to walk. It's as simple as that, right? If you do any more than that, that's a plus. I'm sitting in a gym. You can see I have a weightlifting rack behind me. I have a spinner and a fan bike and a rowing machine right here. I have dumbbells over here. I have everything. I have a full gym right here in my office. That's how important it is to me now. I get it. I'm a fanatic. Not everyone has a laboratory that they sit in every day.
Yeah.
Right. But this is what I do. Right. This is all I do. And it really matters. It really matters to keep that muscle on. And, we sit around and talk about hormones and, women, they put them on HRT and bioidenticals and everything else. And that's all good and fine, right? It works for a lot of women. If you don't have the BRCA gene and this gene and that gene, knock yourself out. Load yourself up on hormones. It's fine. But you know what else keeps your hormones strong? Eating the right food and exercising and getting the proper amount of sleep. Those three things alone, before you take any hormones, right, will help. And I get it. I'm not poo-pooing HRTs, and for men, TRTs. I'm not poo-pooing it at all. It's not for me because I'm a cancer survivor.
Yeah.
I don't need to grow any more cancer in my body.
No.
Right. But if it's for you, knock yourself out.
Yeah. Really helpful. Well, thank you so much. We could talk forever. You can come back on. We can do more than one. You know, I have good friends of the show. People come back on and tell me more stuff because people always like, oh, I want to know about this and I want to know more about that. But for now, where can people find you? Because it's really fascinating.
VinnieTortorich.com. I'm going to spell it for you because my name does not roll off the tongue. Vinnie. No Y. Vinnie. T as in Tom. O-R. T-O-R again. I-C-H. If you just go to the Google machine and put in Vinnie and then try to spell Tortorich, I come up.
You come up on your podcast, obviously. Fitness.
Yeah, it's only about 4 Vinnies in the world that come up. Is me, Vinnie Jones, who's in your country, and there's Vinnie Jones comes up ahead of me. That bastard, but he should because he's so much better looking than me. He's
So you're Vinnie Tortorich.
Vinnie Tortorich. Yeah, if you just go do that, you'll see the documentaries. The first documentary,
Confidential. All this is you.
Yeah, Fata documentary is. It was like documentary of the year or something. It's in 80 countries. It's like wild. It's still out there doing, And then we did Fat Documentary 2. We did Beyond Impossible. And, we did a bunch of documentaries. You can find it. Just put my
and
name
you're on Instagram. You're easy to find. People can find.
Yeah. I'm out there a bit. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and telling us everything you've told us. It's so interesting.
Thanks for having me.
Please come back. Please come back and tell us more.
Whenever you want, you can call me once a week. I enjoy you. You're a lot of fun.
Brilliant. Take care and talk soon.